This year, the sport begins under continuing darkening skies as the clamor around brain trauma grows in intensity. It all started back on Tuesday with this Boston University study and the bold headlines that more than 90% of NFL brains studied indicated some degree of trauma, presumably related to the sport of football. That headline spawning articles like the one in the UT that involved former Charger team physician, Dr. David Chow, who, by the way, will be in studio in the 6 o'clock hour to refute some of the things I think our 545 guest is about to say. So with that, I'd like to introduce former Oceanside football coach with so many rings, it's hard to comment on it, but currently PPR analyst, Mr. John Carroll. Coach, thank you for coming back to the studio.
Absolutely. Great to be here. Looking forward to the PPR.
And yet the sport is facing its most difficult challenge ever. Is it hyperbole to say this is a real threat to the sport of football?
Well, it's a real threat to the number of participants in the sport of football, no question about it. And again, I'm going to say it's the greatest sport there is. That it helps make America America. It's a part of Americana. And what it is right now that we have to get 100% clear, it is the safest at the high school level that it has ever been.
And yet people who read this Boston University study that was released on Tuesday I tried to read it. I had my eyes rolled into the back of my head, but the headline is hard to ignore. 91% of people who played football for a long time have some sort of brain trauma. Your response to that article is?
Well, first of all, it's apples and oranges. NFL, high school. We're going to talk about two divergent studies. The study that you talked about, the headline jumped that preconceived idea right into your head. But the study itself was a very small study of approximately 200 individuals that already had predetermined brain cognitive issues. So the 90% that you're talking about, or the most that was written in the newspaper in the headline, had to do with a study of 200 plus damaged brains. There are 1 million approximate high school students that play football each year. Over the last 50 years, there are somewhere around 30 to 40 million people that have played football. Add college into that and the 25,000 NFL, and you're talking about 40 million people that may have played football in the United States of America. The CTE numbers are not there. It is a very small percentage of the population, and it is the NFL is the primary driver. I'm not here to promote the NFL. They can do that for themselves. I'm here to promote high school football. There was a study in the same Journal of American Medical Association that came out that compared high school to high school. They went back from the 1950s and 1960s, and they took a longevity study on the cognitive ability of people that played and didn't play, and there was no difference. And that was before football became safer.
Which we're going to get into. But still, you would agree the sport is under attack, would you not?
I would agree
with
that.
Listen to this. It came up in all places, the Rush Limbaugh show. Take a listen to this.
Folks, it's just a matter of time now. I don't know what the length of time is, 20 years, 15, I don't know what, but football days are numbered. They have been so effective in politicizing everything about CTE and injuries, not just brain injuries, but the other injuries that are incurred, that now everybody watching a game, whenever there is a collision among players involving the head, I guarantee you most people, ooh, CTE, ooh.
Football's days are numbered. You hear that and think?
How sad for young males, how sad for young students, because I'll tell you, besides my marriage, besides my faith, besides my family, it was the greatest experience that I had in my life.
But let's take junior. I think most people assume that Junior Seau suicide is directly related to the CTE studies on his brain afterwards. Whether that's true or not, most people believe that. You know how important Junior Seau was to this community. If it is true, how can you promote a sport that is a possible outcome to someone as special as Junior Seau?
First of all, it's an incredible tragedy. And each and every person that does develop CTE, no matter how small the percentage is an incredible tragedy. So we have to recognize that. The overall good that the sport does. I can tell you right now, besides making a lasting impact on my life, a life-changing impact, I have seen in the 35 years that I coached and in the 12 years that I played, I have seen only one person that I know of that has had this terrible situation occur to him. So we're talking about thousands and thousands of people that I dealt with, and I know of one. And I have seen it transform the lives of youth right when they needed that life transformation, away from gangs, away from drugs, away from personal destructive behavior, get their life in shape. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's saving lives.
All right, so we're going to jump ahead a little bit. You were talking about the sport being safer. Obviously, the rule book is being tweaked. And then there's the Seahawk tackling technique that I know you subscribe to, the hawk tackling. Can you make a sport that is as violent as football safer?
Okay, riding a bike is the #1 cause for concussions for youth today. It's not football, it's riding a bike. You make it safer by wearing a helmet, but it's still the #1 cause of concussions. Okay, how do you make it safer? Better equipment. Better helmets, better helmet fitting, it's all happening. Technology is going to save it. #2, certification of coaches so that coaches know more. They do, they have to, it's safer because of them. #3, less contact during full contact during practice time. It's legislated, it's already happening. Most concussions happen during practice. If you can take that out, you just eliminated most of them. Okay, so, and new rules that try and take the head out of the game. And then we have these new tackling procedures.
Which we're looking at right there. Dr. Chow is going to be sitting in that chair in 1 hour. What question do you want me to ask him?
Dr. Chow worked with the Chargers in the NFL. I'm coming at this from a high school perspective. I don't know what his experience is with high school. I know what mine is. I know that when I went back to my 40-year reunion 2 years ago.
No.
Yes. The topic of conversation was football and football memories. They are lifelong. They help create who we are, the experiences that we have. The football experience, not for everyone, but the football experience for a large number of high school students changes them forever. And we got to save it.
Yes or no? Will there be high school football in 25 years?
Yes, technology is going to save it.
That's one side of the story. Coming up at 6:45, we'll talk with John Carroll, or excuse me, with Dr. David Chow and get the other side.